Well, we are back here with another wonderful session, and this is a keynote address that you wouldn't want to miss. Straight from Chicago, this is Dr. Bala V. Balachandran, who's joining us today to give us an address on how do we produce entrepreneurs in schools. Well, I do have Sriram Iyer, who would do the kind introduction for Dr. Bala. Now, Sriram has been the CEO for Qubit AI Technologies. He's the TIE CM and co-chair for Education SIG. Well, Sriram, over to you.
Thank you, Gunjan. Thanks for inviting. And I would dear all, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, based on which part of the world you are in. It's absolutely my honor and privilege to introduce Padma Shri, Dr. Balavi Balachandran. I have been a student for almost like more than a decade. He's a living legend. I know him very well. And the thing is, like, he's like contemporary of Peter Drucker. There is nothing in management which goes beyond the knowledge of Dr. Bala. He is an institution by himself and a person who has created four top-notch institutions in India in education space, and they all are ranked in top four. May it be Great Lakes, where he is currently associated as chairman, or may it be ISB, Indian School of Business, IIM Bangalore. He played a role, and he developed MDI Gurgaon. Not only that, he is emeritus in services in Kellogg's, Padma Shri given by Government of India, advisors to four governments across the world, and considered to be the contemporary of Peter Drucker himself. And he used to teach with Peter Drucker at long time back in like in early 1980s. And it's actually a privilege to hear him, one of the finest speakers that we can get. And he's giving today a keynote about how entrepreneurship can be taught in schools. Sir, it's my honor to welcome you here on this board, and we are very happy to have you here as one of the speakers. Sir, it's all over to you.
Thank you very much, Sriram. I would like to definitely thank the organizers of TIE in creating this global summit. Given the time is short, let me get on to the problem. The main topic, as we have talked, is how do we produce quality entrepreneurs who are successful in business schools or in any school. As a matter of fact, that is extremely important because of the following. The topic is very relevant and following because of the following. Uncertainties are inevitable, but worrying is optional. And definitely panicking is pathetic, and therefore planning is paramount. Why do these uncertainties suddenly emerge so much? It is not only due to the industrial revolution, which we started with, turned on into the internet revolution in 1995, but to the tremendous amount of technology that has come, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and things like that, which is changing the way of life. And at the same time, disruptive business models like the Uber, Airbnb, and others giving a challenge. And everywhere there's disruption due to data sciences, due to digital marketing, due to these kind of new revolutions, Industrial Revolution 4.0, and above all, COVID. The COVID has created such an amount of onslaught. There are a lot of people who have now found not only the problem, but also the benefits of the COVID. So the key question that I want to pose today is how do we convert this so-called fear into hope? What is fear? Fear is nothing but false evidence appearing real. And what is hope? Huge opportunities productively executed. Now, it is very clear, just last week, more than 3,000 people are laid off in Triple M. And believe it or not, once you get into January, which is not too far from now, maximum 1 month, many, many companies might declare bankrupt. Many companies are going to reduce their headcount. Many companies are going to have voluntary reduction in salary. And as a matter of fact, those of you who are already in middle age and did a fantastic job and reached to the peak or a CXO level, now you are going to find the whole company may not exist. Then what happens? So that kind of a fear is now there. And therefore, what is the hope? Can I create, while I am a student at I am going to restrict my discussion to business education, especially MBAs type. as Sri Ram has introduced, I have created this Great Lakes. So I'm going to take two case studies. One is this Great Lakes Institute of Management, which after a quintuple bypass surgery, when everybody said, slow down, not that quintuple bypass surgery, I paid for one and got four free. Amazing model. But the point is, I was about to collapse completely due to some problem during the surgery. But I woke up at the age 63. And then, after my experience of creating business schools like IIM Bangalore at the start of 1972, and then the MDI Gurgaon in the 1992-93 MBA program, and later on ISB in 1999, all the way for the first class started in 2001. Now I became an entrepreneur, actually an edupreneur, actually a techno-edupreneur or technopreneur. In my opinion, every business is actually a service company. Even if it's a manufacturing business or a service business, you have to serve the customers. So, therefore, now the service aspect of that has become a very big deal. Now, in addition to the technology. So, now similarly, every business is also a technology business, either directly working on the technology area like the IT, ITES, and other services, or bio or nanotechnology, but at the same time, you using the technology as an enabler to produce significant results. So, therefore, now how do we make that thing better? Now, as a matter of fact, because of this kind of conditions, it is possible that many of us might not find a job if you are graduating out. As a matter of fact, in until the last year, every year for the past 16 years, Great Lakes started in 2004, we have 100% placement. So they can confidently say, if I go to Great Lakes, I can pay my debt. Now it is not so clear because the number of jobs is reduced, and even the people who are originally working are going to be laid off. How many people they can hire? So I am positive now every one of us have to think about two things: not only learning the conventional skills and tools and marketing and finance and operation and all of them, but at the same time, you have to understand and how to become an entrepreneur. So each one of us, I am going to recommend that every MBA school and every MBA student has to have two innings, just like in cricket. The first innings, a necessary condition, work all the skills and tools so that you go to an interview when the job market opens up and the recruiters come and get the job. But you are going to get the job probably at the 75th percentile or 80th percentile. So the next 20% of the time you have got, and you cannot get out of the school until you get graduate and satisfy all the requirements. Now that is the time the second innings come. Instead of just standing out and marking time, let us prepare each one of us for an entrepreneurial skill. Create a school. So, therefore, every school should have an experiential lab. As a matter of fact, I am going to use Great Lakes as a model, as well as another particular individual who got the deanship of Harvard Business School, the best business school in the world, most, at least most known, anyway, top five. Let us put it that way. Now, now, how come Srikant Datta, who was denied and could not get the deanship when he was at the right age of 54 or 57 before, now at 67 got the job? Knowing full well there were very good candidates, including candidates or female, were really needed, and for diversity of gender and whatnot. And in spite of them, a person who is normally supposed to retire, he has been given the job for a 10-year period. All right, how did he do that? The reason is crisis management. The crisis management is more important, and the kind of difficulties that we are going to see, everybody's life is going to be there. And it is not just the COVID, even though the vaccine has been already started being used in Europe, in Britain. Actually, William Shakespeare get it, not the same William Shakespeare. But at the same time, now we are going to have probably tomorrow the approval, and therefore the vaccine going to be there all over the place. Even though COVID can be reduced, but it cannot be eliminated. If that crisis goes, some other crisis. So how do we prepare? So you have to produce entrepreneurs in every business school. in every technology school, in every professional school. How do we do that? Same idea. Instead of a 2 year, a 1 year kind of program, call it as a 2 period. The first period is to get a job so that you can get back to work and at the same time pay back your debt. But at the same time, even if you get a job, it is clear to me that the job might not be there forever. It may not be there even for more than 2 years or anything. So, right at the time of the class, why not we create a complete discussion and training the people not only for the skills and tools which enables them to get a job, but to retain the job. And in case the job is not there, to create your own boss. You are your own boss. You create your own company. And that is exactly what I am talking. And that is what we need because of all these things. So therefore, how do you think you can have this business education? The business education has to change. And as a matter of fact, many MBA full-time programs like University of Wisconsin, Champaign-Urbana are closing and going to online. So there are all kinds of disruptive things are happening, disruptive business model. So every school is going to have a niche group of people where there can be offline, in campus, etc. But there will be a significant part online also simultaneously. So therefore, there will be a small group where the education and the teachers will actually involve. The entire thing can be beamed all over the world. Now look at this stuff: 35,000 registration, 400 speakers. Is it possible in any conference? COVID created that. COVID created, and the technology of Zoom or Google Net were available. That is there. So therefore, in my own opinion, that is why Great Lakes has created and also applied for Atal Innovation Mission. You had the speaker Amitabh Kant there of Niti Aayog. They have created, and there are 5 business schools got it, including Great Lakes. So what we are doing, every student is trained to become an entrepreneur also. Why? When the things go bad, as a matter of fact, we said when going gets tough, the tough gets going. Every student has to be a tough leader. Not only a leader, but a tough leader. How do we do that? And that is to be done by having this kind of a thing. So we have to have an agile program, identify 2 segments, a segment for getting the job, but at the same time, before the graduation, the entire time is productively used into an agile, adaptable, affordable, and deployable. So that is exactly what it is. And you have to understand the customer. And with this thing, you have to learn a lot, and not only learn the skills and tools, but also learn the entrepreneurship. We have done that. We have done that. And as a matter of fact, this is the only school where not only the students are graduating, but also startups are graduating. We are graduating. This thing is available. Sriram will give it to you. And there is a brochure called Galaxy of Stars. Prior to that, there is a brochure called A Star is Born. So now every student have experiential learning. And in the experiential learning, entrepreneurial thing is the most important. They can actually real life take care of even the stock market with real money rather than simulated money. So the experiential learning will be actually augmented, just like the artificial intelligence helps. It is actually an augmented intelligence of the internet. So we created a whole major called AIM Lab, Artificial Intelligence, Internet of Things, Machine Learning and Deep Learning, Algorithmic Analytics, and Blockchain. All of them are never taught. Now we have created a major. So like that, we have to know that the crisis management is important, and the crisis management can achieve by agility. With the agility comes adaptability, adaptability to affordability, and then deploy the whole thing. Now, that is the way entrepreneurs are going to be produced in every professional school, whether it is an engineering school or a business school or anything. And IIT Madras also has a incubator. We have an incubator, and therefore the students are not only trained to do the conventional things. In addition to that, we are going to exploit the power of and eliminate the tyranny of or. It is not this or that. It is this and that. Blended learning, and all of them put together is going to create such an amount of power to the students. so that they are always active. And even if the worst becomes worst or the tough becomes really tougher, the toughest person get going. And because of the agility, adaptability, and also always, so everybody has to have a two jobs. Even currently, you do the current job, but at the same time, think about with your uh, colleagues who can complement and supplement skills and create, at least conceive of an entrepreneurship, a startup, a lean startup, agile, active, and whatnot, and be even a serial entrepreneur. Even assume that your own business is going to collapse. Doesn't matter. You can actually start another one. There are a lot of things that can be done, and therefore the current education and the educational institution should concentrate not only on the conventional things and get the discipline, skills, tools, but at the same time, this adaptability, agility, problem solving, and creating a future which is brighter. And that is where India is going to regain the paradise that we lost. As a matter of fact, the Indians are extremely adaptable, like the Indian Juga. So you can be creative, you can be innovative, and you can be agile and adaptable and flexible and nimble, and you can create a startup simultaneously whenever things happen. And if somebody doesn't get a job, you create a startup, and those who have the jobs become the partners and work on it. And in case something happens to you, no problem. Nothing stops you. You can keep on getting things done, and that is basically what I would like to say. So every business school should have two innings or two periods, not equal. And secondly, they have to make sure they work hard to understand a standby redundancy and by creating this entrepreneurship, whether you are using it right away or not, but it is
Sure.
going to come into the right time at the right place for the right price and for the right result. God bless you. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. This has been a wonderful thing. We have got very, beautiful lectures from you, or the keynote from you, talking about what is false. It was really wonderful to know these acronyms. That false evidence appearing real, and hope, which is talking about huge opportunity productively executed. These are wonderful things. And then the method that you talked about in terms of the agility, adaptability, resilience, perseverance, creating idea, innovation, so these all things. So I'm really thankful to you. We do not have any questions right now from the audience so far, but this was very thought-provoking session that you gave, and you made us feel that anything can be done. And like with your example, making back-to-back four successful institutions, bringing into the top of the world. So that's also. I really thank you for this session, and I hand it over back to Gunjan. Thank you.
Absolute words of wisdom. Very well said, Sriram. Thank you so much, Dr. Bala, for being with us and
And
taking our time.
people can communicate with me, contact either Sriram or myself, B hyphen Bala or B minus not underscore Bala at northwestern.edu. Then we will give you the brochure of that particular how to create the startup. All these things are mapped out. We have a 6G model, and the brochure I will just to show so that people can see a star is born in
Mhm.
every business school or a technology school. A star has to be born, and that is an experiential learning producing entrepreneurs. That's it. That will be a standby which can be used productively when when tough when things go tough.
Thank you
Thank you
so
very
much.
much.
Again, thank you. Thank you. Very well said. These 20 minutes were not enough to take all the wisdom from you, but we will remember your email address and we hope we can contact you in the future. Thank you so much again. Thank you, Sriram. We're on to the next session.